see on Chris's channel. I always use Chris's channel as the. Oh yeah, it's on YouTube. I mean, on my Facebook.
Isn't that episode number 14 today?
15.
15, I think. No, or
Yeah.
because
Oh,
are we not counting the week
No,
that
it's
we
14.
Is it 14?
It's 14. So we missed a week.
Oops.
Crap, has it been 15 weeks total though?
Yeah.
No, it's
Damn.
16 because we missed one show.
Wait.
It's total though?
Yeah, 14. Last week was 13. So it's been
Okay.
15 weeks.
15 weeks. Jesus.
I'm going to tweet out the link here. So maybe somebody is tuning in. Where's my iPad?
There's 30
Guys, I
people
just
on
baked another cake.
Facebook.
I literally just got it out of the oven.
It's not the same one you sent us or you posted?
Exactly the same one.
It looks pretty good, man. I've never had a non-cheese cheesecake.
Vegan cheesecake, I mean.
What's it like? What's the substitution?
It's kind of the same stuff. It's just soy-based and oat-based, like vegan cream cheese and soy-based yogurt. But it's more of a I don't know how to say it. It's like more of the consistency of the yogurt is a little bit stiffer, and we call it quark. I'm not sure
Quark.
if there's an English
Same.
word for that. Is there?
Same.
Quark?
Yeah, it's the same quark. Yeah.
Quark. I don't even know what
Learn
that word
something new.
What does that word mean?
It doesn't really mean anything. Well, we use it in German to say to tell someone that it's that what he's talking about is nonsense.
Quark. How is it spelled?
Q-U-W-A-R-K.
Quark.
Yeah.
Oh, quark. I thought. Okay. The accent. Your guys' accent threw me off. I was thinking of a completely different word. Quark.
I could show up now, but I better let it cool down, and it's too hot to handle.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi guys.
Hello, hello.
Hey.
Everyone, welcome to episode number 14, as we just found out, of DJs and Beers.
Cheers.
Look,
Yes.
cheers. I'm being political already again.
That's a cool label. Where's that from?
It's the same. It's a Frankfurt brand. It's Frankfurt Helles. It's just they just did a buntes, which means colorful,
Nice.
and Helles means light. You know.
Yeah.
Do you actually know what Helles means when you well, you're drinking a Pils, right? But do you know
It's
what?
similar to a Helles.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's similar to a Helles, but the actual meaning of the word Helles is bright, light, like
Mhm.
light.
Okay.
Hell is
It's like if
opposite of dark. What is
yeah, that's what I'm saying. If an American person would read Helles and they would think it's like some dark shit
Yeah.
because it has the word hell in it. I don't know.
Mm. Damn, I always keep forgetting this. So hi everyone. Tonight we're sadly missing Mo, who cannot join us for this show, and Ali, Mr. Dubfire, is somewhere on a trip with his brother and the family, and he's going to join us at some point because he didn't know yet when he would join us. But we have a really fantastic guest. First of all, I'm sure you're all happy to join David, Matt, and myself on the show, right?
Is he
And
here?
shall we get our guest in? He's waiting for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matthias Kaden is our guest. Welcome, Matthias. Whee!
Hey, man.
Hey, hello.
Hey.
Hey, Matthias, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you for the invitation. Hi.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm still having water in my glass. I'm so sorry. You actually have a beer on you, Matthias?
Yes. Actually, I have to say, I'm not really into beer, but today,
What?
I choose not really, but yeah, today I already drunk a half.
So what's
Ah, nice.
your drink of choice when you DJ? then?
When I always love to drink rum and Coke.
Oh wow. Okay. What, dark rum? Like a
Like a brown or dark rum, yeah, always. Like, yeah, Havana mostly in the clubs, or like I
Wow.
prefer Zacapa or Don Papa.
Yeah. So you drink
That's
it at home as
interesting.
well?
Yeah.
I'm not a big rum fan.
That's interesting. I'd love to dive into that directly because, you know, if you have a drink that is so specific as rum and Coke, which is it's a pretty specific taste,
Yes.
you know, and you don't switch around. You're just saying, you know, like, let's get a vodka tonic or something like that. It's rum and Coke since like what, years and years?
More than 10 years for sure, because I don't drink vodka, gin sometimes, tequila, maybe 1-2 shots, but mostly rum, but not the whole night. Sometimes maybe the beginning with Coke, but at the end it's too much sugar and
Yeah. I was
then-
going to say it was this all, when I used to drink spirits in clubs playing. If you drink, especially if you drink with like sugary. I mean, there's loads of sugar in rum already, but I mean, it's just I could never sleep. You know, it's just full of.
I don't want to sleep, you know. I always stay awake, so it's fine. Yeah, it gives a lot of power. I don't know. I love to drink it. The taste is nice, and it gives me some power.
Yeah.
What's the name of the drink though? The rum and Coke. There's a name for it.
It's Cuba Libre, isn't it?
Cuba
Cuba
Libre.
Libre.
Yeah,
There you
Cuba
go.
Libre. But
That's what it
mostly I drink without the lemon, because then it's too much acid. If you drink the whole night, then the acid's like.
Yeah.
So, but for sure it have to have the ice have to be inside. Yeah, with ice is important.
Waters it down.
So, but today I choose a very regional beer because I live like 2 minutes from this brewery. It's called Köstritzer.
Nice.
And it's like 2 minutes from my house. So this is why I choose this as my first beer.
And David, did you see it? They make a pale ale there now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw because
choose
that's
the pale ale.
it's not a pale, but I love pale ales.
Yeah, it's really nice.
What city do you live in?
My city called Gera. It's like 1 hour from Leipzig,
Okay.
3 hours from Frankfurt, 4 hours from Munich, in the east side of Germany. But the most biggest city is Leipzig or Dresden.
Okay.
And we have Erfurt and Weimar. They're very known here. This area called Thuringia. Yeah.
I've been to Erfurt once. Hey, you want to hear something funny? I forgot the name of the club. It was like 5 years. What's the big club there? The
biggest club now called Kalif Storch.
Kalif Storch. That's the one.
Yeah. Okay.
That's where I played.
This is the biggest club. Yeah.
Random story about this club. I played there. I think it was about 5 years ago. And one of the guys working there, he was from this city that I live in now, Signal Hill, which is a completely random city in California to be from. And this guy was like, "Hey, I'm from Long Beach too." I said, "What the hell?" And he's like, I'm from Signal Hill. I was like, I live in Signal Hill. So I thought that was super bizarre that somebody was from this town living all the way in Erfurt, a city that I'd never heard of before in Germany.
But you remember the name maybe?
The guy's name? I don't remember his name. No. But he was working at the club.
Oh, okay. But Kalif Storch is now maybe the best club we have here around in our area.
Yeah, it was great. I had a great time. They made dinner. They cooked in the kitchen up there. They have like a little kitchen.
Exactly.
They cooked. Yeah, it was great.
I think
Crew was
Matt
awesome.
played there. Matt, you played there? Yeah.
Super good club.
Very good club. Yeah.
That was
pretty
funny. Pretty funny.
So this is why I choose the Köstritzer, and this is very known actually for this black beer. It's one of the famous black beers they have around the world.
Nice. Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, but the
I actually know the name as well. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
But that kind of brings us into the whole subject already, which I'm so curious about, because maybe we have some young viewers who are not aware of the history of Germany. That Germany used to be 2 countries, East Germany, West Germany, and that was broken up end of the 80s. And Matthias, you grew up in the eastern part of Germany. I grew up in the western part of Germany, never actually visited the eastern part of Germany. And I'm super curious because not only are you having the perspective of the eastern part of Germany, you're also basically, you've never really moved to a big city. You're a really perfect example of a DJ who made it in this business, who like really stuck to his roots, I mean, I moved to Frankfurt in 96 at some point. I mean, I'm not too far away from here. I grew up, but usually, everybody moves to Berlin, everybody moves to bigger cities, New York, wherever you're coming from. And you basically stuck to your area. Where you sitting right now? This is obviously your studio. Since when is this your studio? And why did you stick to this area? And how? Like, that's a long question. You can answer for an hour. Like, how did you manage to have a successful career, not being in the middle of the hotspots? Of the electronic music hotspots, and I think that's a really good example for some of our viewers who maybe live in remote spots and try to make it. And actually, you started making it before the internet started, pretty much too, right?
Absolutely. I was when the wall fell down, I was 9 years old.
Wow.
And it was, with 9 years, my mom, my dad, everybody around me was crying. I was like, what's going on? Because before, we was very hidden behind the wall. There was no chance to buy a banana or a melon. Everybody makes jokes about it, but it's a true story. We had even like chocolate or Milka or something doesn't exist in our world before. So when the wall fell down with 9 years, everything was possible. We went to the first time I went was to Kassel, to the western part of Germany. Yeah. So it was a crazy time for all of us. But then, I love my area. I born like half an hour here from Gera. And I always loved to be here. I loved the scene, what was growing in the 90s. I went to a first techno party in 95. So, and then the scene was already growing at that time. There was so many people coming to our area. There was a few clubs already. We had like a famous club in Gera called Kegelbahn. There was like, I think Dr. Motte played there, and Pierre from Stammheim, from Kassel, rest in peace, Pierre. And so it was growing. Then the first record shop opened here in my area called Underground Wear, where we started to buy records. And then more and more the scene got bigger. There was more and more clubs opening around that time. So, but for me, it was everything new. And the feeling for all of us when the wall fell down, we were like, everybody came together in that point. At the end of the 90s. For the music scene, personally, with the neighbors, with everybody was more happy because finally nobody spied us again.
Spied on you and controlled you.
Yeah, this was my parents, my grandparents, my granddad went to jail for 2 days because he tried to watch on his television, West German television. He stick some cables together to watch the TV shows from West Germany. So they found, the spies came and they said, okay, you have to go to jail for 2 days. Wow. So it was a crazy time, really.
Because I remember when, I think it was at Marcel Detman's wedding, his mother was there, and we were talking about when the wall came down and he was at school. And he said he went back to school the day after the wall came down, and he was the only kid in his class that was there. And a lot of people left his village, or where because I think he's from like not so far outside of Berlin.
Fürstenwalde, Marcel. It's like it's close to Berlin, like 1 hour from Berlin.
Yeah, but he said a lot of people left. They were, and
for sure, because a lot of people thought, okay, maybe this is not really true that the wall fell down, but they had the chance and they all left because they thought maybe in 1 year everything is closed again.
Yeah.
So, it was a crazy time. I lost a few friends also that time. Yeah.
But when was the first the record store, local record store that opened to you?
I think it was 95.
Okay.
95. It was a typical store at that time with clothes and a corner with some vinyls.
Yeah.
So, but then from Leipzig, from everybody around, every kind of DJ, they came then to buy the records in our shop here. So, and I spent there every day in the shop, listening to music. At that time, techno was huge in Germany, Chris? So there was a lot, I remember I was not really into house music that time, but then 1-2 years after, more and more house music came to our area. And especially, I think my part here in Thuringia became more and more into the house music. You know, we listened to Chicago house a lot, all the stuff from New Jersey, New York. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I remember that. I remember that really well, actually, because I kind of started to be getting a little bit more gigs outside of Frankfurt around the 95, 96 time. And it really, especially in your area, like there were so many little clubs in little villages that I even had a hard time pronouncing, in Schmalkalden and
yes.
in Ohrdruf. And
you played a lot in our area. I visited.
It was insane. I remember just like getting in my car, driving over to the A4, which is the Autobahn over there, and it's kind of like a 2-hour drive, maybe 2.5-hour drive to over to your area. But it was always kind of almost visiting a different country still at that point, because the division was just so long. And exactly what you're saying, I remember this. The mood there was just so, like, people were just like so relieved in a way, relieved of, oh, this pressure is gone. We can party. And it was very authentic, very natural. It was not really polished, you know. It was really old, like kind of like factories that were used for parties and everything. It was a brilliant time. And especially also in your area.
I saw you a couple of times in 8. Mai, you remember?
In Chemnitz, the Club 8. Mai.
Oh yeah, this is very like, long time ago.
Yeah, we did tours there where we had like, I did tours in 2003 and 2004. I think it was around that time in Club 8. Mai, 2003.
I think it was earlier.
It was also earlier, but in 2003, I remember we did a bus tour with Gaetano Parisio, Steve Rachmat, Adam Bayer, and I'm not sure if Marco Carola was also on board on one of those gigs.
Wow.
And myself. It was really, really, really amazing, and it kind of lasted very long. And it's great to hear that you actually still have those clubs there. Did you have a big influence on that scene as well? Obviously, then after the initial start.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, how can I say?
It's a weird question, is it?
Yeah, weird question. Now, I started really to play in clubs when I was 15.
Oh wow!
Like it was like 1996. So then I started. I had already my own resident, or my first resident club here in Gera. I always had to bring someone who's 18 because I was not 18 at that point. So
Crazy.
I always had. So I think maybe influence for my city, yes, but I'm a part for the whole scene here. I think in East Germany.
Yeah. Were you throwing parties as well? Were you throwing parties at some point as well?
Yes,
in your city.
Yeah. We had this famous club, Kegelbahn, this famous club, and then also we had this other famous club called Biux Ultra. That time Steve Buck was a resident. He came here, I think since 1997. Steve Buck was like every year 2-3 times in our area.
Oh, okay.
So, and then we had Biux Ultra, and we had also Casablanca in Jena, very known club for, very known, where the Vainomi brothers, Robak Frume and Monkey Mafia come from. Then, and for sure, our club Muna. This is, Muna started in 1994, and I went there the first time in 1996, and this was, wow, because Muna was something different to all of them. A lot of DJs from Berlin came, like DJ Rock, Tanit was playing there. We had Claude Young, DJ Hell was there, and then Cora S, Ellen Alien, Paul Kalkbrenner. So this was this. Yeah. Chris was never there. Chris. Yeah. Okay. But it's kind of a small club. It's like for 600 people, and it's very outside. The club is in the middle of the forest, so the people have to drive a car to arrive there. There's no other traffic transportation or so. Yeah. And this club influences me a lot, actually.
Is that club still around?
Yes, the club is still existing, and we are now 26 years old. Yeah,
wow.
26, and I'm a resident since 1998. So long time. And since a few years, our main DJ Hörste, he left because he moved to another city. So, and me and like 2-3 other friends from Muna, now we are programming and doing all the stuff for the club. Yeah.
And
But we open only once a month.
and you still have plans to open in September?
Yeah. Actually, no, but yes, we are allowed for the 300 people, but only outside.
Okay.
Inside the club, there's so many things. Now they ask us to build another entry in the club,
Wow.
and
Okay.
we don't know where. You know, we have like one door. It's already huge. You know, a fire door.
Is it like an old building, or is it
Yeah.
like a?
It's
Okay.
a very historic building because it's called Muna,
Yeah.
and it is an old Munitionslager. I don't know the name in.
Huh.
It's like for the war, you know, like 1990 in the 1940.
A warehouse for ammunition.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
All the missiles was there inside. All the missiles
Okay.
and stuff. Yeah, it's a very historic building. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they shut down the doors. I think we opened 94, and 20 or 30 years was nothing inside before.
But there's with the current situation, there's no. I mean, I know this. It's different state by state. Of course, in Germany, but the law, you can actually reopen in September, but maybe outdoor. Or how are you going to do parties or?
We don't know yet because our team is not sure about, because it's still, we are allowed maybe to do a party with 300 people, but outside.
Right.
We have a big area. Muna is not only the club, the house. We have a big garden. I think like 3,000 square meters or something more. So we are allowed to do parties outside, but we are a little bit scared because you have to write down a plan for the hygiene.
Yeah.
So, and it's not that easy because you have to double the security. Police will come for sure to look around if the people are together or not. And still we are in like, it's Corona still existing here around. And if something will happen, even if they test 1 or 2 person positive at Corona and they say they went to the Muna Club, so we can close for the next month for sure. This is why we take a little bit patient and wait a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because it's too risky. But there's other clubs like Distillery, a very known club close by. I have my first gig this Sunday.
Oh, really?
But in the garden of Distillery.
Okay.
So they opened the garden for 200 people. And I saw already on Facebook, I think over 1,000 wants to come.
But they have to move soon as well, don't they, from this venue, I think.
They also have to move. I think they still have the permission for the next 2 years, and they already found a new location. You know, Distillery, and I think they can, it's shitty to say a new panorama bar, but the building and everything looks like another building.
I mean, it's always, I played there on, I think, Christmas Day this year. It was a weird, but it was amazing. I mean, it's such a great club to play at. It's always
really amazing, and they do parties 2 times.
I actually prefer upstairs to downstairs. Upstairs, the sound system.
I never played downstairs. I always play upstairs.
Yeah.
I did a lot of times in 96, 97, 98.
This game a lot.
It was like boom, but it's a beautiful place, and actually it's the same location since 1996.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
No,
I wanted to ask you a question, Matthias.
1995 maybe.
No, Chris, wait. I think they moved. I think now the new one will be the 3rd location already.
Yeah, it will be the 3rd location, but this location now is already since 95, because that was
Okay, I thought a little bit later, but yeah, maybe you're right.
Yeah, that was the first. My first gig there was in 96, and it is probably the club that I played there last year too again, and it's just an insane idea that you go to the same club like literally 24 years later. Yes. Yeah. And it's still run by the same beautiful people, by Steffen. It's so good. Yeah. But apparently that's part of your area there. I mean, when you talk about Muna, it's like, why do you think that is? Like that there is such a consistency? I mean, not only with the clubs, also with you having been living there for so long and basically also energizing the scene around you all the time. Like, what's the key to that? There's rarely places on the whole planet, I think, where things like this are happening.
And we have a few, because in our area, we have Casablanca with 30 years. We have Distillery, I think 28 or 29 years, and Muna with 26. So it's a long time. I don't know really why, but I don't know really why. But I'm super happy that we have this. Yeah, the scene is very thankful still here for sure. The last years, a lot of things changed. There's a new area. Young people come to the club, thanks God. But still, the people are very thankful. And if you one time love your club, you go there. Even if you have kids, if you have to work, you visit your club once a month for sure. And this is also the good thing with Muna.
Yeah.
Like every year we have on 25 of December, our Christmas celebration at Muna. And sometimes, yeah, the club is so full that we have to say we can't let nobody in anymore because all the old people, all the people who started in 94, 95 in Club Muna, they're still visiting us, yeah, and dancing. And sometimes they're coming with children. They're already 18 or 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is the good thing. And this is why I want to come back, why I still live in this area. I feel very warm here, still welcome. Is the scene is not grooving, not moving so much or growing.
Mhm.
It's always a little, how can I say, stable. Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, it sounds like it's very local then.
It's very local.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, yes. You see sometimes just a few new people inside. In Leipzig Distillery, you have a lot of new people because the area is huge and the club is the most known. But especially for Muna or for Casablanca, you have always kind of the same people. Yeah.
Is Leipzig the city that has like the 24-hour like license where any club can stay open?
Yeah.
Or is I think in the wrong city? Or is that everywhere in Germany?
I think not anymore. Germany had it, I think, until 2006, 7 with Muna, we also had the permission to do 24 hours.
Okay.
I mean, I played at the party, the one I did for Leipzig Distillery on the 25th on Christmas Day. That was a 36-hour party. That was just like non-stop.
Yes. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's distillery. Yes, they do the 36. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
But I think they also, I don't know if they go on. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But before, the years before, it was allowed to do this every weekend, but this also stops because distillery, this is the reason why they have to move, because there's so many neighbors now around. They're building new houses around. And so, yeah, they decided to move because always there was some stress. Yeah.
Are kids, I mean, I wanted to ask you, like in your area, are kids doing illegal parties during this COVID-19? I mean, while everything's on lockdown, I mean, it's happening here a lot in.
Yeah, I hear that. No, not really, no. There's some smaller groups, like 20, 30 people under a bridge, but not really. It happens maybe 1 or 2 times. Yeah. Yeah, no. They all have the patience. We all wait because we know, we hope that our clubs get open again.
Yeah, because I mean, where you are as well, I mean, during the summer, there's a lot of open airs, there's a lot of outdoor parties. And I always think that this is one of the great things about German club culture is that there's a lot of outdoor parties.
Now, we have a lot. This Sunday was supposed to be the Fink Festival. You know, the big Fink Festival. And this is also the, distillery and Fink, they're together. So that's why me and Danny Stefanik play back to back the whole day on Sunday for Fink and for the opening of distillery. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a bit nervous because the first gig I think my last gig was on 7th of March.
Wow.
A long time. Yeah. We all in the same boat. Yeah.
Are they gonna allow dancing? Is that still a thing? Like they don't allow dancing?
I talked with Mark, the booker, yesterday, and he's like, okay, we have space for 170, 180 people, but there is like our DJ booth is on a little bit. How can I explain this? The DJ booth is a little bit up, and behind the DJ booth is a big field. They want to build some houses soon in the next months or years, but the field is free, so they await like 500 people or more dancing on the field behind us.
Okay.
I hope with some distance. I really hope, but yeah.
Okay.
Do you have any cases in your area?
What, Kay?
You have any virus infection cases in your area known, or is it?
We have a few. I think in my city, Gera was like 15. It's very less, but we have it. Yeah. I know from my grandma's friend. She died, so we know a few people who died already for COVID. But in my area, close by, family and everything, thanks God, nothing yet. But mostly the people here take care about this.
Yeah.
Use the mask. We think it's okay. You have to do it. Otherwise, we never lose this shit virus. Sorry for that.
No, you're right. You're right.
Okay.
We
have
can only always like point towards this to all our viewers, like wear your mask. It's such an
Absolutely. Yeah, I
essential
saw.
thing right
Thanks
now.
for this. I saw that you guys are really into this. I have a lot of friends, also very, very close friends, very intelligent friends. They say like, yeah, this little flu. I'm like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
But I actually, with some friends of mine, we stopped the conversation about this because it makes no sense. At one point you fight and maybe you lose each other, but we love each other actually. But at this point, we are super different. Yeah, super different thinking.
Yeah. And have you had any gig offers so far in the last few weeks, apart from the one at the distillery?
Yeah, but just
Travel,
like distillery, then in Hanover there's the Pan Club.
Yeah.
From Chris, he asked me to play for a beach party.
Okay.
It's like he rent a place for like 300 people. The people sitting in front in the beach, chilling, drinking, and behind the DJs play. I think Adana Twins played there like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was looking nice, and I said yes for sure because if there's a little possibility, for sure. Don't think about any fee, but just because I missed it a lot because it is my life since more than 20 years. It's not only that I lost my job, I lost even very big part of my life.
Yeah.
You know, I for sure now I have a big time with my son. He's 6 years old. He's going to school soon. My girlfriend, they're happy that I'm here, my family, but they all know me and I miss it. On Friday, I'm like, I'm used to it. You know, we are used to travel. We are used to. And even, you know, even if some DJ colleagues of us saying, oh, finally I have time for studio, I have time for visiting my friends. Even if I travel the weekend and I'm staying awake for 10 days, after this, I find my time to produce or to see my friends. You know, it's like,
But don't you at least like the constant normal schedule at least? You know, like you can go to sleep every day at the same time.
If you have a son at home, if you have a little son at home.
Oh, that's true. You got a kid.
Sure. And I have to wake up every morning now at 7:30 or 8 o'clock or 8:15. I always skip because Matteo, my little son, he loves to sleep. So, but I have to bring him to the kindergarten always latest at 9. So then after I go to my studio and I answer emails, but this time, no, maybe there's one email who comes in every day. So, So, but I share my studio with another DJ called Marek Hemman. Maybe, Chris knows for sure, maybe. So, and we are like here together sharing some music. He's totally into new stuff. Oh, look, this plug-in and this new instrument. So and then always at 3, I leave my studio and picking up Matteo and then playing in the garden, doing some stuff, playing fabulous Lego.
But talking about that music, like you and Marek have done a lot of releases together. You've been producing for quite a while now, right?
We met each other in 2001, and Marek was a very famous techno producer with a different name, and he played all this local underground techno stuff. When I told him before that I have a chat tonight with you and the guys, he was like, "Wow, what is Chris doing?" And so like, he was the guy who always went to the parties where you played because he was totally into techno. Yeah. So, and then we met 2001 and I asked him, because since that time I was only the DJ, you know, I was DJing for 5-6 years. I was not thinking about producing because the DJing was everything for me. So, and then I met Marek and he had this Uno 106. He had so many machines. He had I don't know, everything that time. So, and I asked him, maybe we can do some music together. And then, we started. And Marek started the beat with 133. And I said, oh no, please, we have to slow down. So we did our first track, I think 126. And this was already fast for me because that time I played a lot of house music. So, and then the first track we did, we sent it to Freude am Tanzen. You know, we sent it to Robak Frumme, Gabor. We knew him that time already. I said, Gabor, we did some music together. You want to listen? And we went to the Casablanca. At the time, Robak had his studio downstairs in the basement. And he listened to it and he was like, And then at one point he said, okay, let's do it. and we were like super happy, you know, the first release, the first, yeah. So
Amazing.
then, yeah.
Somebody's knocking on the door.
Oh,
Hello,
Ali.
everyone. Hey guys, how are you?
Hey, Ali, hello. Good to see you.
Hey, my old friend, how are you?
Hi.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Hello. Cool.
I'm
Is
just,
that a lollipop in your hand?
it's a lollipop. Yeah, I'm here at a nearby beach in, it's called Rehoboth Beach in Delaware. It's like a 2.5-hour drive from DC. And I'm here with my niece and nephew and a few other family members. And it's like, it's a lollipop party. I feel like Paco Asuna.
Yeah,
Paco, what's
yeah,
up?
you are feeling like Paco. Yeah. Mm.
How are you, Matthias?
Yeah, very good. Not, yeah, now very good because, yeah, I can talk with some person that, yeah, we share the same feelings right now. But
Yeah,
normally the last days were a little bit hard for me because, yeah, if you realize, we talked about, Matt asked me if we start again in our area in September or maybe October, but it doesn't look like this, that we really can start this year. We have to wait, and this makes, yeah, it's a critical time because, yeah, what to do?
yeah.
If I find a new job, I don't want to go back or to find a new job, you know? This is our life. We love the music. And, yeah.
How many of us have had that nightmare? Waking up in a cold sweat, thinking about getting a normal job again.
But
No,
Matthias,
I think. Go ahead.
sorry. Oh, and Matthias, that's the reason why we meet here every week, so we can look at each other's faces and still know, like, we're still here. We
Yeah.
still have a purpose, somewhat.
Somewhat.
Even if it's only drinking beer.
You can beer and just do the shit. Yeah, that's it. But it's like, I was gonna say, like, Movement in Detroit literally just announced, like, I don't know, half an hour ago that they're canceling their festival until next year.
Mm.
Yeah,
What does it mean? Like, till what next year, you mean?
like May 2021.
But I mean,
They canceled
David,
May 2021?
No, they're canceling it because it was going to happen in September.
Oh,
Yeah.
nobody really thought ever that would be happening, right?
That's why I'm like, that's why I was like, I can't believe that they were still holding on to that. Like, I don't foresee, especially with the way US is going, I don't foresee it happening at all this year, or anything.
I think there's the
50,000 new cases. Yeah, overnight. 50,000 new cases.
Overnight.
Yay!
USA.
USA.
I guess you guys take it with a bit of humor. But I wanted to, Matthias, I wanted to go back to that because the idea I always had when I drove east to play, techno was always pretty strong there, like the underground techno, but there was always this big, super strong house scene.
Yes.
And I never could explain why that was, especially in your area. Like, why were you what made you so fascinated to get rather into house, and a lot of other people in that area too, other than just following the trails of techno?
We had, you know, my area is Thuringia, and the other part is Saxony, called Saxony, yeah. So, and Saxony was always into techno. Always very hard techno, but our area with our club Muna and the clubs around, I don't know why in the end of the 90s, we were only playing house music. Even me, I was only, you know, techno was huge. Frankfurt, you, Sven,
I know.
all the DJs, you know, Pascal Feos, all the guys like techno, but I don't know why. We love to visit these venues where you guys played, but we were looking to, I don't know at that time who was like Heiko MSO, and so started, you know, with this playhouse and everything.
Yeah.
This was not more our kind of groove, you know. We wanted more the groove, more the warmness, you know, the Chicago house, Masters at Work, Ron Trent, all these guys, Frankie Knuckles for sure, all these big names.
Yeah.
We were like, we waited every week for a new record, arrive to the record shop, like real house music. Yeah. I don't know.
How do you explain that? Where did this come from? Because it is that pocket in Germany, and still is, obviously. And this pocket of Germany very much influenced the rest of Germany's house scene, because you're probably the strongest part of house scene in Germany since that time. Let's say apart from Moose T and Hannover and that part, maybe.
I don't know.
Don't you agree a little bit?
Hmm?
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, a little bit, but we are a small area, but for sure, maybe we had an influence. But I think we had famous DJs in the 90s, like local DJs, and they all came up with house music. You know, like we had, remember DJ Jauche?
Jauche, yeah.
Yeah.
Dixon, we had Dixon for so many times, and he always came with this deep house. Everybody was like, even us, like, wow, so slow music. Oh my God. But you see how he always keep his style, and we all know the story. But even Muna, I think since 1998 or 99, we stopped to book techno acts. We only were into house music. Only maybe we had sometimes Alexander Kowalski or Paul Pritchich. This was for a little bit more techno, but not cold. Was not like really the Schranz. Yeah, was like more the. Chris is smiling.
I'm gonna get a beer.
Yeah. Don't speak.
Matthias, you're from Leipzig? Or?
No, I'm from a city called Gera. It's like 45 minutes, 1 hour from Leipzig. And the closest more known city is Jena or Weimar, Erfurt.
Yeah, that area. I mean, Matthias Tanzmann is from Leipzig, and so you guys are quite housey from that particular area.
Matthias is a big example. At the beginning, I don't tell the first DJ name he had, but the second project was Gammat 3000. And then Matthias, is a big example. He played only the deep house, that time.
Where did the house music influences come from back then?
All from Chicago, New York, New Jersey, all this,
USA.
And also for sure, always the Detroit, the underground. Still, my friends in 2020 still wearing the UR t-shirt. This is something, the Detroit, the Carl Craig, all this more groovy house. This is the people loving it still. Yeah.
But were you guys buying it from the record store, or I mean, were you listening to this stuff on the radio? Were there any local radio DJs or?
No, that time we only had Hard Dry Club Night, and it was techno.
Yeah.
So maybe there was too much techno. This is why we were looking for some different kind of.
You were a
I
reaction
always think
to
it's a reactionary thing, That's why people react to. If there's too much of one thing, people go the complete opposite,
And we drove to Berlin to the record stores, even Hardwax. If you find all the dance mania, all the groovy, funky, dirty house sound we were looking for, so we drove to Berlin to search for some house music.
Were you into like the basic channel stuff, the sort of deep, minimal, groovy? Because they were quite housey as well.
For sure.
When their music wasn't too left field and minimal, did you adopt? Was that an influence for you as well?
Absolutely. All this, basic channel for sure. I'm Your Brother. All this amazing records. That time. This is still we still play these records here because it's something that's. We never can leave. And this, we always, my group and my friends around, we always looked for something more warm, more deep, with maybe some techno elements, but more deep, and some voices.
And your music was always, I remember, one of the reasons why it spoke to me was it was very rhythmic. You had a great understanding of rhythm, percussion, and that was like a big, when you sat down to produce, or even the music that you would seek out to play. Was that something that was always calling to you as well? Was that like, the foundation of your groove, rhythm and percussion?
Yeah, absolutely. I love the rhythm. That time in like end of the 90s or 2000, I played a lot of like only groovy rhythm stuff. This is why I played more in South America than in Germany. Still. But for sure, for now, my music changed a little bit because all this groovy house music, all the new stuff that you can listen from on Beatport or something, it changed too much to a commercial way or to everything is on repeat, all the time, repeat. This is why I also, since 3-4 years, I changed my style a little bit, coming back more to my roots. Because all this house music and all the tech house stuff, it changed so much, all the time the same vocals. And you can hear that all the producers, they're all good, but they're working only with the sample thing and everything comes together, like the frequencies are like, so this is why I stopped a little bit with all this groovy stuff. But still I'm searching for records like this, but my DJ sets nowadays, they're a little bit more techno now. Finally, I come more to the techno. Yeah, Chris is like, we got it. No. Yeah, but rhythmic was always, in the beginning, like 2002, 2003, when Luciano, Ricardo, all these guys came up, they were super famous, and they came with this Latino rhythm, and this was my heaven, you know. After all the house music came more this Latino, and that time it was really like, wow, it gave the feeling. All the women came in front, you know, like it was like a mixed dance floor, because techno, there you see the first 20 rows of men's like, okay, it's nice, but like the mix.
A lot of places it's still that way, you know. It's still like that in many places around the world.
And I think this was also, I think Luciano, all this Chileno, when they came to here to Germany to bring all this vibe, it affected me and my group a lot, for all this music. And this is why then I started to use more percussion, and I played very rhythmic.
And do you remember your first trip to America? And did you make a pilgrimage to those places that you drew inspiration from? Chicago, Detroit, New York?
The first gig I remember, it was, I think, 2007, and I played Resolute for Nectarius. Maybe that knows. So I went inside the deep scene already. I came and I went inside the deep scene of New York. The Nectarius.
That started at like 6 in the morning or something like that, right?
No, that time, it was 6 in the already. Yeah. So I spent there 1 week, and I think it was New York and San Francisco the first time. I think Chicago and Detroit and Los Angeles came later, around 2009, 10 maybe. Yeah. Okay. So, but for sure, first time in Chicago was for me like, wow. I played at what is the famous club?
Smart Bar?
Stereo?
Spy Bar, Smart Bar, Sound Bar.
They're all called bar.
Yeah, Sound Bar. I think
Sound Bar.
Sound Bar.
So yeah, for me it was really nice to be in the city where all my influences were like, this was really good.
What about LA? Where did you first play in LA?
LA only warehouses with some Latinos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's Droid, now that I think about it.
Actually,
what year was it?
I should be around 2010. I remember my first warehouse party in LA. I played there. This was the time I released a lot of stuff on Vacant in Berlin, our label. So since 2004-5. And so this guy who picked me up from the airport, he had this license plate Minimal. And I was like, okay. He was like, yeah, let's see what's going on. And then we had a warehouse party, and he was the biggest Vacant fan. He had all my vinyls. I had to sign all the vinyls.
Wow.
And then this was cool. And in the night, before I started to play, I was, I don't know where, around in the backstage. And then I heard some shotguns, like a gunshots. What's going on? And then the owner came like, we have to be quiet. I said, what's going on? You know, like the East German guy in LA. And then he said, the owners of this area is like a gang. They want some money, but we don't have the money yet, so we don't know. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in America, shit. Actually, my first time in LA.
Nice taste of LA.
Oh my God, I was like, wow, it's really like in a, you know, normally I know.
It used to happen a lot like that, like 15 years ago and before, downtown and warehouse parties. Because like downtown now, it's like super gentrified, so there's really no gangs around there. But back then, it was like if you were throwing a warehouse party and the local gang didn't know about it, they would roll up to your party and let you know, like, hey, we run this neighborhood, so you either let us in and drink for free, or you got to give us some money.
And this was the funny thing. They became some money, and then they stayed with us at the party. I was like, what are the guys? No, they're having fun. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, most of the time.
We have a lot of fun. And they said, like, yeah, in 5 minutes you have to start to play. And I was like, so my heart, everything was shaking. Like, what? Yeah.
I wonder which.
Isn't that the beauty of electronic music? I mean, just like, this is still so mind blowing to me. You have to think about this. There's this kid in East Germany from like a small village, getting influenced by records from Chicago, produces them himself, becomes really famous in the scene, gets booked back to Chicago, where people go and get to see him. And I don't know any other music scene where things like this.
Yeah, I'm super thankful, because this is what you said at the beginning. I'm not in the main spot, you know. I'm not in Frankfurt, not in Berlin. I'm like in Gera. Yeah. Even after this chat, you all will forget this name, because Gera, like, it's a small city. All my friends, all my DJ friends, all the talented designers, everybody left.
Right.
Like, just maybe, I have a few DJ friends for sure, but all the others, at first they left to Berlin, then Leipzig or Munich, but everybody's leaving my area. This is why it's not my mission, but I want to show the people, you know, you can live wherever you want. you can do it. You know, even you have the chance to chat with you guys when you are in Gera.
Did you ever encounter that people weren't giving you the right recognition or respect because of where you were based, and you were making music and you're releasing records from a particular area that wasn't maybe known for, that wasn't like Berlin or Frankfurt or Hamburg or Munich or whatever, you know? Did you ever feel that?
The last years I feel it, because if the people recognize that I do this since 23 years, so they're like, wow, since such a long time. And then I think at the beginning was for sure, there was also sometimes a fight in this area. Oh, Matthias is playing there, and we also don't want to play there, but why he? So at the beginning was always this little bit, yeah. But now I think since a few years, and I'm still doing this, I never left the music scene. I never left to produce music. And so I think since a few years, they are like, yeah, hey, okay.
You're okay.
The East German, it's not like America. You say, hey, bro, you're doing amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
They say, okay.
Do you feel like your area where you're living prior to or before the COVID thing, had it reached a peak? What was the peak of the music scene? Was it in the early 2000s, or is it still growing? Or
I think it's not growing anymore. It's not growing anymore. I think the high peak was 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
Was the high peak. Yeah. I think
I
now,
mean, it's similar to Washington, D.C. I never felt like a real part of, I mean, there wasn't a lot that came out of D.C. besides, you know, that we had go-go music. We had like the Basement Boys. We had DJ Span, Mandrill, who was 33 1/3 Queen on New Groove, that record that sampled the older guy called Gerald's song. We had Vaughn Mason, who was Ray's Break for Love, and he did the Bounce Shake Roll. I can't remember the name of that song, but
Bounce Rock
yeah,
Skate.
yeah, Bounce Skate, yeah, classic song. So we had a few things over the years, but you know, we had Theory Corporation later on. I mean, Deep Dish, we came out of there, but I just never felt like people respected DC in the same way, and they didn't. That they did people who were coming from New York or Chicago or Detroit.
mostly the people, you know, I released the first records on Freude am Tanzen. This was our bigger label in this area. This is why people around the world know more Jena, the city besides of Gera, because of Freude am Tanzen by Nomi Brothers, Musik Krause, Metaboman, all these guys. Yeah.
It conquered the world.
I just remember, I forgot one thing. There's one DJ, sorry, not DJ, a DJ girl. She's from Gera, Dana Ru. Dana Ru is from Gera too.
Ah, nice. Okay.
You know, from Cocoon now and producing with Andre, Galuzzi, and so
Yeah,
yeah.
she works with one of my best friends, Jamie Fry. They have the distribution company KMA60 now, so and a little store here. It's amazing.
Yeah, Dana, yeah. Very nice. So, but yeah, she lives
Amazing
also in Berlin.
DJ.
Best example. She lives in Berlin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. So are you a big beer drinker, Matthias?
Not really. I say that also at the beginning. I'm not really in. I love beer. You know, if I'm with friends around and they have beer, for sure I drink beer. But I choose a regional one. Is like I said already that this brewery is like 2 minutes from my home, and I choose a pale ale today. Yeah.
It's funny because we go ahead.
And they do a pale ale, which is actually then again a beer that basically became famous because of the craft breweries in the USA. So now your little brewery next to you is doing that because this, like, the brewery world is entangled as well. But how is it for you, the pale ale?
It's good.
Right now?
It's a little bit more. What is it? Bit bitter.
It's
Yeah.
A little bit bitter, but I already have the next one. Is Astra.
nice.
Hamburg.
Wow,
This
for
is
a
actually-
non-beer drinker, you're prepared. It's always funny. It's always funny when we ask.
7 beers. Okay. Yeah.
It's always funny when we ask certain DJs to be on the show, and they feel like they have to. They're like, well, you know, I'm not really a beer drinker or whatever. Oh, yeah, it's okay. You can choose. You know,
I didn't know Danny drunk.
whatever. Huh?
I didn't know Danny was drinking.
Teneglio? Yeah, that was really funny because I've never seen Danny with a beer except for on our show. So
Yeah.
But this one is actually very strong. It has 7%. Seven,
wow.
a lot
That's not very strong
It is for beer.
for beer.
For a pale ale, that's pretty strong, actually.
Yeah, but it tastes good. Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know if living next to a brewery is a good idea for me.
Yeah. Sometimes also when the wind is like in a good connection.
Oh, you can smell it. Oh, that's the most amazing. I love the smell of, like hops and the boiling mash. Man, it's an amazing smell.
And
It's
this-
almost like baked bread and like herbs. It's crazy. It's so good.
That's exactly what it's like for me when I'm visiting sake breweries in Japan. It's like once you step into one, you're like, wow, yeah, you're literally inside the bottle of sake. And it's taking
Amazing.
it all in.
This I
Wow.
also
Like-
I love to drink sake. Yes, I have to say a
Yeah.
lot. When I went to Japan, I had the time. I went to Japan like at least 3 times a year. This was the time with with our label Vakant. They were totally into this minimal techno. So and I drank a lot of sake. Mhm. And
It didn't end well for you, huh? After that.
no, it ends perfectly because next
Yeah.
day you don't
Yeah.
have to speak head and sake is very good. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I always tell people like if you stick to sake, you'll be fine the next day. But a lot of people make the mistake of like they're drinking it thinking they're gonna get like smashed, right? And they don't. So then we'll go to the club or somewhere else and they'll start ordering like shots of tequila or start sipping whiskey or whatever. And then all the sake that they were drinking throughout dinner or whatever starts to collide with all the shots and everything else. And then they have the mother of all hangovers the next day. And I never do that.
It creeps up on
remember-
you.
Mhm.
It really creeps up on you. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
I
creeper.
remember once, Ali, I played at the Stereo Bar in Montreal,
Mhm.
and you played in the nights in the big room inside.
That's right. Yeah.
And I came there, and in one point the bar was closed, and like, okay, what's going on? And you had this this special bottle, I don't know, the Tupperware, with full of sake.
It
And
was
you
like
said-
a 1 liter empty
Yeah.
plastic bottle completely full of sake that I hid under where the records are usually held in a DJ booth. And I'm like, don't worry, I got you.
I remember that night.
After a certain time, they're not allowed to sell. I mean, I
No,
think that's their rules. Like, in order for them to be an after hours club, it's like no alcohol.
Yeah.
Too. And that
Yeah,
night,
they can sell a stereo bar, but the big area, they're not able to sell any alcohol.
Yeah.
and that night you showed me the amazing earbuds. You remember? It was a
The what?
project. The earbuds. You gave me some earplugs, and you had on your telephone the Bluetooth, and I was able with the earplugs to put the volume up and down, the mids, the high, the bass, and I was in the club like, oh my god, technology future. But I know how it ended up, but it was very interesting that time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that company, it was a great idea, but I think it went out of business. I guess it's no different than like the AirPods now, where you can control the transparency
But it was like
And
6-7 years ago, and it was a good idea at that time,
very good idea.
to control the volume and at least the bass, like the monitors. And super.
Yeah.
Which ones are those? What company was that?
I can't remember.
I think I remember hearing about them. You can
Something
EQ.
with
Yeah.
earbuds, buds.
Ear pod?
No,
Earbuds?
buds.
No.
But
And
But you
My
could-
friend Rishi knows.
would
you
do
can-
tasting
If Rishi's
that,
listening, he can let us know.
Rishi, Rishi. He gave me 2 of this, but yeah.
Yeah. Rishi, let us know
I just bought
if you're
these.
watching.
I saw like a Facebook ad pop up in my feed, and it was this company Flare Audio. You heard of them? They do like earplugs, headphones, whatever. But it's so stupid. I just want to try it out. They have these little earbuds that you put in that cut out resonant frequencies. So it actually, when you're listening to music or anything, like these harsh resonance frequencies that your ears normally would catch because of nature, that those are filtered out and you can hear music in a totally different way. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it. So they'll be here in a couple weeks. So I'm really I'm curious to hear how those. Yeah,
Please
Tell
report.
us on the
Sounds
show.
weird.
Yeah.
it might be all bullshit. I don't know, but some lady. There was this lady. She's like a classical, I think a classical pianist or artist or something. She talked about how she has tinnitus and that even helped fix her tinnitus. So I was like, okay, I might have to try that out because I have tinnitus.
My tinnitus gets worse when I'm like, the more drunk I get, I find.
Really?
Or the more tired I get. Yeah. Like if there's lack of sleep and a hangover, or if I'm drunk or whatever, it's amplified.
I never paid attention. I think it's
Have
like,
you guys' ears gotten better over the time now?
Yeah, there
With a
must
break?
what's that?
Well,
Have
we
you
know
guys'
yours
ears gotten
hasn't.
better with a break?
Maybe
What?
I mean, I don't
What?
know.
Yeah.
Huh?
This is the guy who's doing the weekly 8+ hour sets in his headphones asking us this
Yeah.
question.
What?
Wow. Respect for this one. Yes, respect.
Yeah.
8 hours on the headphone, never. Even not 1 hour. I wouldn't.
No, it's,
Maybe we always say
depending
match
on
the
the
machine.
headphone.
Maybe Chris is.
It depends on the headphones, dude,
Maybe yes. Yeah.
and the volume of the headphones. You have to be disciplined. But no one is feeling like a relief of the ears here after, like, let's say,
For
what,
sure.
4 or 5 months of not hanging in a club?
Yeah,
maybe.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be a good
I mean,
time
do-
to get your ears tested, I guess. Maybe.
Can your ears like, do they repair themselves after not
I don't think so.
being exposed so long? Not really, right?
Oh, not really. No.
They just degrade.
The cells don't regenerate, I believe. Once you lose them, you lose them. The little
Yeah.
silica.
I think
what
we
are they
need to
called?
get an ear doctor on the show.
That would be great, actually.
Yeah, let's find out.
My ear doctor asked me, "Hey, Matthias, think about maybe you can study and you can take over my business here," because I went there like 2 months ago to the ear doctor for just a normal, and he said, "Hey, okay, so your business is gone." I was like, "No, it's not gone," but yeah, he was like, "Hey,
It's taking a break.
yeah, maybe you can study because I yeah, it's a long story, but I maybe study and then you can take over my business here." I was like,
Somebody's
Becoming
just
a
saying
doctor?
beer doctor in the chats.
Dear doctor.
Doctor.
Guys, unfortunately, I've got to run now. I'm sorry about that, but the
It's
family
you.
awaits. Matthias,
Ali
it was nice
Ali
to
has to
catch
go to
up
the beach.
briefly.
yeah.
Yeah.
I got to go to the beach,
Enjoy the weekend.
socially and social distance, and wear a mask, which is bizarre, but maybe I'll send you guys a photo from there.
I think you'll be fine on the beach with the mask.
Yeah.
Ali,
Take
stay
care,
safe
guys.
out there.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Just quickly, like, are people wearing masks around you there?
Yeah, the majority are. Some aren't. I mean, that's a whole. We could talk about that for an hour. There's people that just don't believe the science.
Yeah.
They believe in the conspiracy theories. They're under a lot of different kinds of pressures, and they're succumbing to the pressures and kind of following the wrong science or advice, and believing certain untruths, and really focused on the untruths, and try to push that narrative onto people who really do follow the science and understand how effective mask wearing is. So I don't know. It depends on the individual. I think everybody needs to. We all obviously have to, believe in this collective purpose of wearing the masks. I think this is why you're seeing the crazy case numbers in America. Is everybody?
Are the beaches open?
The beaches here are open.
Also throughout July 4th now, then?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of beaches. There's beaches in Florida and California that are closed. When the day that we were leaving, I saw something about some lifeguards here, like 3 lifeguards got COVID, and maybe some people in restaurants and stuff. But yeah, it's I'm sure if they'll probably close this any day now, as the case numbers continue to climb.
Well, Ali, stay safe there. Thanks for hopping on.
Thanks,
Ciao, Ali.
guys.
Peace.
Bye, everyone. Wear your mask.
Yeah.
Bye, Ali. Ciao, ciao.
Bye, Matthias.
Bye.
So that's the thing. It's like people would argue that, oh, well, look at the science of wearing a mask and it works. And then there's people like, that science is bullshit, man. This is the real science. So I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to believe here? Like, people will say that listen to what the CDC says. And then other people are like, oh, they're fucking bullshit. They remember in the beginning, they said not to wear a mask and they said it wouldn't work. And now all of a sudden they're saying wear a mask. I'm like, well, because they didn't know anything about this virus yet. You know what I mean? So, man, it's so frustrating. Just every time I open Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, people are just arguing against wearing a mask where I don't see a really big deal. I'm like, it's a tiny cloth over your face. Why is that so difficult? You're not, you don't have to go and like run a marathon in a mask. You know what I mean? Just like you're going to the shop, put one on. I don't see the big deal.
Yeah, I mean, surgeons have always worn them, right? Everyone wears them. Surgeons have always worn them. People wear them in hospitals. I mean,
but I've seen like memes. People send me memes of like, oh, have you seen the doctors in the lab? Like they're wearing a full, like a full getup. And they're like, and they expect a little mask to work against it. I'm like, that's the dumbest comparison I've ever heard of. I don't know.
But we sadly see the outcome at the moment with the numbers in the U.S.
Absolutely.
Totally. That's exactly. And people are like, oh, they're just like, they're saying like now the numbers are jumping like this because obviously more people are getting tested, but then they'll say that somebody died in a car accident that had COVID. So that gets counted as a COVID death. You know what I mean?
Do you think that so many people daily die in car accidents who have COVID and then that drives the numbers in the States? Is that really a thing?
I'm not saying that's the only reason, but saying that there are like people that have a heart attack.
Yeah.
People die of heart attacks all the time, and then they test them and they have COVID, so they're gonna have to tick that under a COVID death too. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know how much all that is true. That's some of the conspiracies that I hear. So I don't know. I just say just put on a damn mask.
Absolutely, you can only agree. I mean, it looks. It doesn't look good for the reopening of the U.S., to be honest. Anytime soon. Actually, I mean, you're trying to reopen, but it's rather a reclosing going on, especially in California, right? You just sort of have reclosing. The beaches are getting closed again and stuff. How is your July 4th weekend going to be looking like?
I'll probably just be in my mom's house with my sister. That's it. Like, really nothing else going on. All the big fireworks shows have been canceled. They don't want people gathering in
at least something. Yeah.
So, but I'm sure people are throwing their little house parties, and I've gotten invited to a house party with 10 people maximum. So people that I know are keeping it pretty well. What is the word? Concealed, I guess.
I guess the thing is, this year it doesn't really feel like, I guess, you got much to celebrate. America's got much to celebrate, so I think that's on people's minds as well, isn't it, with everything that's happened?
Yeah.
I asked that question on Twitter, actually. It's like, USA, what do you have to celebrate again this July 4th, really? What is there? I don't want to be a dick about it. It's just,
freedom. We're celebrating.
I wanted to ask you a question, Chris, because more going back to the DJing thing that I saw. I know in our little group chat you said you might be going to Rome. Yeah. So what what's happening with you and your traveling?
There is a Spazio Novecentre.
Yeah, of course.
And the promoter who runs these parties has a rooftop location.
Crazy guy.
No, he's a super nice guy. Gianluca. I don't know if he's crazy, but he's super nice. I know. I mean, he's a super trustworthy, very good promoter.
Okay.
And that's kind of my main thing. I want to really trust the promoter, know the promoter. Gianluca, I know for many, many years. And his parties are always safe, always good. And it's apparently an a rooftop open air party with like a limited capacity, obviously 300 people.
On the building of this.
On top of the building.
Oh wow, okay. Because it's like a historic building, isn't it? In
the Mussolini district there, that the buildings that Mussolini built over there. I mean, you never know if it's going to really be happening, but that would be the plan, and it's interesting. I mean, there's a lot of ideas how to reopen stuff, and Matthias just told us a little bit about Muna and other clubs that slowly reopen. I read a really interesting concept by the guy from Lehmann in Stuttgart. You've all played there, right?
Yeah.
The really amazing Lehmann Club in Stuttgart. And Basti, who runs the club, came up with a concept of how to reopen, what the way forward would be to reopen clubs. And I find that concept extremely interesting. I'll try to summarize it quickly. It would work that there is a centralized ticketing system for a city, and that basically you have to leave your details, address, everything in that ticketing system. You are allowed to buy, in the beginning phase, for example, you would be allowed to buy one ticket for one party in the time frame of 1 week, you know? So you would say maybe, all right, I want to go Saturday night, I want to go to Lehmann Club. And Lehmann Club would open the doors, and they would maybe limit the amount of people inside for 300 people, but otherwise there's no restrictions. So it would be a relatively normal club night, 300 people. Everybody who goes there, there's no door or something like that. You have to pre-buy your ticket. You leave obviously all your details there. You have the ticket. You have to show your ID at the door, and then you go and you have a good night. The advantage of this system is if there is a virus case, it can be really quickly traced back to the exact night, to the exact person, and everybody else can be basically contacted of that night. If, for example, the concept works well, also there's like loads of parts of this concept. Obviously, that the whole staff is changing every weeknight. You know, the staff that is working on a Friday night will only be working the week after on a Saturday night, and this way. There's a lot of hygienic measures being taken, and if it works good for 1 or 2 weeks, you know, you could maybe either increase the amount of people that are allowed to go to a club, or you could say to the people, okay, it works well, we don't have any new cases, so you're allowed to buy 2 tickets for a week to go somewhere, for example. And then you can slowly increase the number of people that can go out. Yeah. Or if there's cases, you can like cut the club off, close the club down again. If there's a case, you know, contact everyone who's involved. The reason why obviously coming up with a concept like this is not only because business needs to be made and life needs to go on, also because, I mean, you not only notice that this in the United States of America with, let's say, sort of riots going on or something like that. We had that in Stuttgart as well, especially in Stuttgart. But in bigger places, here in Frankfurt as well, there's a lot of people coming together on outside spaces. And I'm sure Matt can tell us a lot about that in Berlin as well. And people want to go out at some point. You cannot control this anymore. So why not put in a system where you can control it and lower the number of illegal parties, which you can not control at all.
Which eliminates Los Angeles straight away. All the best parties are illegal.
Yeah, that's true. So that would be a concept that they're working on right now, and that they're trying to push the concept to the politicians now.
But you don't. I mean, sorry, pardon my ignorance, but you guys, do you have ID cards in Germany? Are they a thing? Like,
yes, we all have an ID. Yeah.
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Or you don't? Because it was always in the UK. There was always people voted against it because they said it was taking away their civil liberties of having to carry around these things. But just that point you made about the
ID.
About sort of signing up for clubs was that I think in Australia, in places like Perth, I think because they have a lot of violence, or they did have a lot of violence in clubs years ago, you have to scan your card, you know, when you go into clubs, so people know who's there and who's not, which, I mean, again, for some of the parties that we've all played at, they're illegal. I mean, it's going to be a difficult thing to enforce, even with this thing, like with ticket sales. It's only going to work at the clubs that are really, you know, above the law, you know.
Absolutely. I spoke to Kobe, who runs Sound Nightclub in LA, and I explained the concept to him briefly. And like after 1 minute, he was like, impossible for us here. It's just totally impossible for us. This can't be handled. That can't be done. Even starting talking about a centralized ticketing system, nobody would ever set this up. This would be crazy. So this is very typical German approach, I would say, to start to reopen slowly a club scene, which I think we all feel need to be at somewhat being reopened at some point. You cannot keep everybody inside or illegally outside, crazy going crazy for a longer period of time. We have to find a certain concept.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke to Marco Farioni yesterday, and it was his birthday this week, and he was actually the culprit who had the private party at Amnesia, I think on Monday, for which I think made the headlines in some newspapers, and they got raided at 8 a.m. in the morning. So he had this little private party there. They had
Ibiza.
Yeah, in the main room at Amnesia. They only had like 100 people. They put tables. I'm not sure if I should say this, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Don't tell anyone out there.
So yeah, hi Marco, and happy birthday. So they had sofas and chairs, and they did what they could to make it as loungy as possible. But he also told me that he's going to Bulgaria this weekend. You know, he's playing, as we said, he's playing with Dax J, and I just wonder how these things are going to work, or you know, what the provisions are in other countries.
Croatia the same. In Croatia also. Croatia, they open. Yeah, it's coming more and more. I see on Instagram a lot of DJs saying, "Oh, my first gig." I saw WAF today and Andrea Oliva playing in Croatia festival.
Yeah. No, I'm supposed to play there in September, but there's been spikes there. There was this tennis tournament, and there was quite a few cases, and I don't know, you know, not sure how they're dealing with this situation or what they have in place. You know, like Chris said, I mean, are all the ticket holders or the ticket buyers, are they all accounted for? What are they doing? I mean, as a DJ, do we get this information if we're booked? Do we know how really the ins and outs? We never really ask that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, you can ask for it, right?
Yeah, you might have to, though. I don't know.
It's
How do you see, Matthias? How do you see the reopening going on? And there's two-part question actually. Like, because you've been a resident DJ for such a long time, and that's what I wanted to ask you the whole show already. It's like how do you see the importance of having a residency for such a long time, and having a residency at all, which I think we all agree that it's such a really super amazing thing to have that. And don't you think, and this is, I mean, this could strengthen like this local scene again, that when things start to open up again, that it's going to be really locally on a small level, on a small scale. So you're probably not going to have to travel far with your first gigs again. And you're just going to go to Muna and you have small parties coming up again. Do you think that's going to be happening? And is it going to be a really interesting feeling because you have been a resident DJ for such a long time?
I think it's good for a DJ to have a home, and Muna is my home. I also go there during the week because there's always some people, because it's a big group. There's one guy, he lives inside Muna since 1994. Yeah, our fishy, he's living inside. Yeah, so it's for me, it's not only a club, it's also a family, because everybody who works inside, even me as a DJ, we're not getting paid or something. This is the special thing of Muna, because this is also maybe a big reason why it's still existing, because we are like kind of a membership, or it's our house, our love. So this is why even the bartenders, everybody, all the constructions, all the guys who giving all their, sometimes they spend their vacations for this 1 week vacation or 2 weeks for the whole year. They spend inside Muna to construct something new, to build a new PA system, or to work on the bar. So for me, it's very important to have Muna as a home. But I think, and this is a conversation we had already with our team, and we have it next Tuesday again. I think we should open slowly. For sure, we are scared and everything, but you know, when I hear this kind of system that Basti at Lehmann Club created, this is very nice because you have all the names, you have the address. If something happen, yeah. But mostly the most people of our club Muna, they are like scared about what I said at the beginning, that maybe if there's 1 or 2 positive tests of Corona, so we are not able to open for the next half or 1 year. But I think slowly we should start, even in our area. And for me, if it's possible, for sure, I have Distillery, we have Casablanca, we have so many clubs, even Calif Storch, they have a nice outside area. I would able to play, but it would be cool, but it's not like, yeah. I would have some gigs, for sure. I would have some gigs, but it will be not the same. It's
So how,
cool. Yeah.
how often do you play at Mona then? Usually on a regular basis over the year. You don't play every month, right? You play.
No, I play like, there was a time I played every month,
Yeah.
but I'm not playing peak time. I play the warm up or the end.
Okay.
We always invite a guest, and we are the DJs, like Norman Weber from Luna City Express, and Franz, Serra, all our resident DJs. We play around.
Yeah.
And yeah, but shit. When I think about it, it's a bit sad.
But I think, you know, what Chris is saying, I think a lot of people have been discussing this, that, you know, like you said, if you have a home and you're a resident DJ, then you're probably in a better position than a lot of DJs who have just become touring DJs, you know.
It is, absolutely. So we are able to play maybe a little bit earlier than the others, but you know, like money-wise or fees-wise, is like nothing, because we do this all for the clubs or for our scene around. This is nothing that you really can survive for the next years.
Yeah, for sure.
This we also have to think about. But for sure, if they open, I will be the first one on the decks. Absolutely. Like that Sunday at Distillery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what time are you playing on Sunday?
I played the whole night with Daniel Stefanik. This is my back-to-back brother and my
Saturday
DJ
going
brother.
into Sunday or Sunday going into Monday?
We have to stop at 10 p.m. and we start at 3. So from 3 to 10 p.m., 7 hours we play like back-to-back. Yeah.
Nice.
This will be cool. And I don't know really, because I'm really looking forward, but you know, that point when you're after so long time on a DJ booth, seeing all the people around, I hope I will not start to cry, because I miss that a lot. And I know it will not happen again like we had before, not in the next 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And you know, losing that thing is like losing for me, maybe it sounds for someone crazy, but losing my music, my techno, my DJing is losing like a family member for me.
Yeah.
For me, it's really hard times. You know, my girlfriend have to fight with this every day. Because my moods, I'm a very positive person, but in a way, if I think about the future, I get in some point very negative. I have to work on this because, yeah, it's already, but it will come more harder time, I think, in the next months for all of us.
But Matthias,
sorry, Chris.
So sorry, Matt.
No, I was just going to say, I totally agree with you, and I think that we're maybe only even a quarter or halfway through it. That's the problem, you know. So I think, you know, we have to adapt, and every day, you know, you wake up and you're in a different mood, or you have to be positive, you know. It's hard though, you know.
But then again, I maybe I'm too positive about it, but I wouldn't say like 2, 3, 4 years. I would say we're pretty safe again once we have a vaccine, if we have a vaccine, and maybe that happens within the next year. So, you know, there's already a little light in the end of the tunnel. And when you look back 100 years, and this is what I'm trying to, like, if I'm in a really bad mood, I'm trying to like look back in history and how did it work. And if you look back 100 years ago, there was the Spanish flu. It was sort of the same situation. Obviously totally different when it comes to the technological advances we have made in 100 years. But 1917, 1918, not only that we had the First World War, but we had this big pandemic. And then there was the 20s. Right? And now we're back in the 20s. So don't you think that maybe, like, let's say 21, 22, 23 will be the most insane party years that we've all ever experienced? I'm trying to see that in a positive way. That is, and after that, I have another question from the audience here. If you have a comment to that.
I have, I think, like you, it's very good to think positive and to see like, to see it positive is very good. But my best friend, he works in the financial business. And if I talk with him about the situation, oh my God, he told me like after maybe next year when everything going to be okay, then the big financial crisis is coming again. And so the next 5-6 years, he said, Matthias, sell your car, sell your house, just living in a little caravan, go somewhere. He's like in this way, you know. It's
I
very
think you
hard
should
to
speak
think like
less to your friend.
Yeah, he's you know, also Daniel Stefanik, he's working now in the financial business. And, you know, they're all my good friends. We have a lot of contact. I trusted them. They're very intelligent person. But what they tell me about the future in the next 4 or 5 years, I'm super scared. I'm not listening to them just with 1 ear, not with 2 ears. But what they say is like, wow, I hope they're not right.
But I mean, economical crises that were happening a lot in our, like, I think the 20s were not all in the 1900s, was also not necessarily amazing times economically, but especially in those times, people want to party, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And
so I'm trying to get something positive out of this.
But don't you think that people are going to be afraid to go out at some point too? Like, yeah, there's going to be the people that are ready to go and go wild, but then someone like me, if I get invited to a party, I'd be like, oh, I don't know if I want to go.
Yeah, that's another point. But let me chime in with one question from Josh Albergo. The question is aimed or directed at me, but I'll throw it in the round. If you did a show and there was an outbreak, how would you feel about it? Like 2 weeks later, you notice, like, for example, I do the show in Rome, and then 2 weeks later, I find out that Rome is the next hotspot, and exactly that party which I was playing at was the reason for it. Of course, I would feel super crap about it. And that is exactly what, from my point of view, I'm trying to avoid. So you need to, like, kind of like juggle the whole thing, you know? It's like, what is the risk? Where is the tipping point where you decide you're going to do this? And where's the tipping point where you decide you're not going to do this? And I think for myself, there's a lot of factors involved. Obviously, how the infection rate of that area is, who is the promoter, and how much can you trust the government in this area? That's kind of like my things. And when then I decide for myself, I'll do it, and there's an outbreak, then I probably have to admit I was wrong doing it. But you have, I mean, you could wait another 2 years. Let's say there's never going to be a vaccine. At some point, everybody's going to have to make that decision. Okay, I go and play this party. There is going to be a risk involved, always. But I throw the question out there to all of you.
Yeah,
I think it's the same.
Oh, Matt, please stop, Matt. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, I'm exactly with you, Chris. It's the same. I mean, and we've been reading all these things recently, you know, especially like with like, I'm not really affected by Live Nation, but reading those reports, like saying about insurance and things like that, and that will affect bands or musicians, DJs, you know, measures that maybe we have to take when we're touring. How can we cover ourselves, or, you know, how can we protect the people around us? I mean, say if you took the infection home with you, you know, all these things have to be considered. And again, I guess we have to take the relevant steps to make sure that where we are playing is a safe place. You know, that's it.
Yeah. Chris, it's very interesting. You said if you can trust the promoter. I think always good to trust the promoter, but what can the promoter, even the best promoter in the world, can have like 2-3 infected guys at his party? You know, for sure, maybe they take care more about, I know maybe what you mean. They take maybe more care about security and stuff around. But if I would get a request now from Croatia or Bulgaria, I would fly. Even if I totally think that Corona exists and I'm wearing my mask and I'm completely with it, I would try to fly to play there. Not even for maybe not money wise, but just to feel a little bit, to go back to this, what we are losing right now a lot.
I think we have to make that clear to people who are watching too. It's like, this is not about money. It's not like, oh, I need to play this gig in order to get money. That's not the point. The fees definitely won't be there where you used to have them. This is not really a money thing. And this is what I'm saying about the promoters. Can you trust him? If this is a promoter that is solely out to get his business back up and to get as many people cramped in the place and make money, and that's what I'm trying to say as well. You know, if I know the promoter and I know this promoter has in the past already put the safety of his audience very high up there, you know, and was even spending extra money to have extra exit doors, have extra medic people around, you know, just someone who's really caring about that. This is what I mean. I mean, you cannot avoid to have that risk, and the best promoter in the world cannot avoid to have infected people in his club. But you can work with someone who's solely out for money, and that's what I would be trying to avoid, because I think it's not about the money. You wouldn't be going for the money to Serbia. I'm not flying to Italy for the money in that moment. We all want to DJ again. We all want to go back to and start things again. I mean, this is our life, right?
It's always been, isn't it, Chris? It's always been, I can speak for all of us, it's a high-risk job. Yeah. With infection.
Getting
you know,
drunk,
we played at some really
your mind.
Yeah, I mean, I've played at some really bad huge festivals where like like toilet situation,
crazy stages that almost stumble and you fall off and everything. I mean, it's interesting that not more DJs have died at accidents, falling off stages and getting really sick or poisoned or whatever, you know, with whatever you're drinking and taking and whatever, you know.
That's one thing that you don't really realize. It's like, you know, you're DJing, you're having a good time, you might be a little buzzed yourself, and then some random stranger in the crowd hands you a drink, and you take a drink, and you're just like, wait, why did I just do that? I don't know what's in here. I mean, I think 99% of the time it's completely harmless. But also it's like, if someone just walked up to you on the street and just handed you a drink, you'd be like, oh, what the hell? I would never even touch that drink. But in a club, for some reason, or a festival, you're like, yeah, sure. It's so weird, you know? Yeah.
I have a good example for this topic, because one of my good friend and a very famous DJ, I can't say the name right now, he was playing an illegal party in Berlin for 250 invited people for the movie business. Was a famous movie actor, invited some friends, 200 people, private party. He got paid very well, like his normal fee, and he said direct, yes, I will do that. So he played the party, and we called like 2-3 days after, and he told me, yeah, Matthias, I played this party, but now after he came back home, he was like, oh my God, what I did. 200 people, everybody was hooking me, everybody was together, we were drinking together, everything was like last year. So, and then at the beginning he was super happy to earn this money, to play and to have this feeling back, but now he's sitting at home, he's like, oh my God, what I'm doing, I'm infected. You have to think about, if you really do that, to go to play somewhere, think about the days after, how you feel, how it is. So you should.
Are you guys more afraid of getting infected yourself, or being a reason that there's a new infection going on? What is it with you guys?
Both.
Being the reason.
Both?
Yeah, both.
Oh, both. Yeah. I don't. For some reason, like I don't care about getting infected myself, even though I should, but I don't want to be the reason for playing some small party and then there was a breakout at this small party because people wanted to come and I was like there DJing like that.
I feel like you, David. Yeah. Exactly.
It's like, nah, I just don't want to be.
And the main topic, if it really happened, will be like on Chris Liebing's party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would be the one to blame.
They
kind of did that here in LA a couple of weeks ago. We spoke about this on the show. There was a warehouse party that happened, and they blamed the promoter, but like the LA Times spoke about it because one of the guys went and he wrote about the party, but in the end, it was just like, it was the promoter and the headliner DJ that were pretty much the culprit. And everyone on social media were just like attacking these two people that were, you know, somewhat involved, even though the headliner was just like, hey, I was just DJ, man. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you have a certain responsibility. I just read one Sandro Bordolini. So you would also play in front of 300 people in Switzerland, and he, in this case in Basel Notch. And of course, I think we all would, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm actually having the plan to play. I think the 31st of July at D Club in Lausanne for a 300 limited capacity party. Of course.
But
July?
Hmm?
Sorry. Did you say July?
Yeah,
Oh, all right.
31st of July.
But now in Switzerland, it's working great. All the clubs are open,
Yeah.
300 people. But I think last week, I think you know that, there was in Lucerne a club where they found 100 infected people.
Yeah.
So I hope it's not affecting to all the other clubs in Switzerland, because now Switzerland is a light, the end of this
Yeah.
dark. Yeah.
Matthias, I wanted to ask you a question. I wanted to ask, going back to the early 90s.
Going back to the music, finally.
Yeah, no, just I wanted to ask you, who were your favorite? Who were your idols when you were younger? Because I mean, if you like US, were you into US DJs and did you book them?
Yes, I booked one time one of my idols. Yeah, so I think one of my idols at the beginning of the 90s for sure were Masters at Work. Still Kenny Dope, Little Louis Vega.
Yeah,
it was for me. Yeah, then Ron Trent.
Did they ever play? They never came to Berlin, right?
No. Yeah, I saw Kenny Dope for a Coca. I went to Berlin to the WMF, the club, because Kenny Dope played a Coca-Cola show.
Wow.
Well, Coca-Cola was able to pay Kenny Dope, and he played with 3 DJs, but he played like if he had turntables. He was stretching and DJing and showing and spitting. Yeah. So, but one of my idols that I also became kind of a friend also is Josh Wink.
Okay.
But the first time with 14, when I was watching, or 13, I was watching the Love Parade in the television, in German television. There was Sven, Chris, there was everybody around, but there was this one guy with like 2-meter dreadlocks playing funky acid music like this. I was like, okay, what's that? And since that time, I was following always Josh Wink. The music sometimes was a little bit too hard or too acid that time for me, but I always, and I don't know why Josh, because Josh is always not really connecting to a group. He's always for his own a little bit.
Yeah. And
I know why I love this, and he's always so super friendly. Sometimes he's like, oh, come, but yeah, we know each other. We are not really friends, but when we see each other, he knows my name and we talk together. I released an album. Yeah. Also, this was one of my, I remember it was at in Miami for the Winter Conference. I sent him like 2 months ago, my demo. And that night I met him and he was like looking at me, Matthias, I remember you sent me some tracks. I was like, yeah. And he was like, let's do it. And I was like, wow, this was the best night for me, release on Ovum. I was like, wow. Because Ovum is one of the labels, I think, I don't know, I don't have the 300, but maybe I have 100 for sure. Yeah. So this is,
And do you still have all your records? Have you sold any stuff, or you still collect everything?
No, thanks God, I have a big place. My studio is like 100 square meters. Uh-huh. This is my room. Then I have the office room, and in the office room there are all my records.
Amazing.
And then it's Marek's studio, and then there's another room where we can where my turntables are and the DJs, and we just hang out and play. Yeah.
And so are you still buying a lot of records, or just digital stuff these days? Or
still buy records. Yes, I still buy records because. Okay, the last year maybe not so much, but we still have a wonderful record shop in Jena called Fat Plastics.
Okay.
And this is also the record shop connected to Freude am Tanzen. And for sure, in the last years I bought less, but I'm still buying records. Yeah, especially because now I'm collecting more all this kind of dub music. So I'm looking and searching for all this dub music that I missed the last years. So, and all the good stuff is. Yeah, only on vinyl sometimes. Yeah, and I'm still looking which good music is only coming out on only vinyl.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
but most of that stuff,
but yeah.
most of that stuff now, it's like they say it's only vinyl, but you can find it on Bandcamp.
I'm not watching on that. No,
Yeah.
I can't do that because I feel like guilty. Or yeah.
Yeah.
Guilty? No, that's what I'm saying. But the label that released it on vinyl only, like they'll have the digital copies.
On Bandcamp. No, I thought about. Okay, so Bandcamp. Yeah. Okay. Now.
Yeah. No. Pay for the music. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. I thought about something different for sure. Bandcamp. Yeah, the new thing. Yeah. Sorry. I missed it.
I think. I mean, it's cool because the label or the artist gets a bigger cut than going like distributor plus service provider plus, like you end up getting this small chunk of money in the end. And especially Bandcamp, I think they're still doing it maybe tomorrow, every first Friday or something. They do all sales.
Black Friday something sales also.
Yeah, like basically Bandcamp doesn't take a fee, so all the money goes straight to the label. So I think that's tomorrow. So tomorrow's Friday. I think it's every first Friday of the month.
Yeah,
they'll be doing that. So yeah, people that go shopping, Bandcamp. But I was going to ask you, Matthias, production-wise, are you still making club music when you're working, or are you kind of not in that mindset?
Exactly. And how much have you been producing since in the last 3-4 months?
Yeah.
In the last 3-4 months, I finished an album, but I have a side project. It's a Japanese project called Mati Midori, and I'm releasing like reggae or dub techno. And I had some releases on Mule Musik in Japan and a release on Ornaments. And my album that I just finished on Mati Midori is coming out on Echo Chord in October.
Nice.
I sent it to Matt. I don't know if you had time to listen, but the thing is, I played in festival in Japan in 2008 in the Kawaba Mountains, and I got booked there. But all the artists around, like Pete from Hardwax, there was so many dub artists. Even the Japanese, everybody played like reggae and dub, and I felt a little bit like, okay, maybe I don't know why you booked me here, but that weekend I found my love back for the dub music. And so then I started this project, and I released one of the first tracks on my first album together with a singer, a woman from Japan. And for the new album now, I invited again 4 singers, but they're not singing, they're speaking Japanese poems on the music, on the tracks.
Oh, cool.
And it's like between 116, 118 BPM dub music, sometimes more reggae, sometimes a little bit more straight to the dance floor, 118 BPM. So yeah, and I finished this album 3 weeks ago. So,
nice.
And then I thought about, for sure, I sent it to Matt because I thought maybe Matt have an idea, but then I know Matt have a lot of things to do. I already sent him a lot of stuff for Rekids. So, and then I spoke to Kenneth Christiansen because we know each other for a long time from Culture Box, Copenhagen, and Echo Chord. I really respect the label. So, and one day he said, Matthias, yes, we do that. Amazing. So, and this album is coming out in October. Yeah.
Wow. So you've been very productive.
Yeah, very productive. And I'm working now on new tracks. There is a new EP coming on the 4th of September on Rekids with a Marcel Detman remix. I'm very curious. Marcel wrote me 2 days ago that he will send us the remix soon.
Cool. And that's featuring a very special vocalist or vocal.
Yeah. I have a very special, not vocalist, we have some words because on one track is like maybe the fastest track I ever did in my life, 133 ppm. It's like electro, and the voice is Sven Feth. And I asked Sven, so it's from an old track from 1995, Sound Patrol. And he always say, so close your mind. And I asked him, okay, Sven, through different ways, I said, Sven, I put your vocal inside one of my new tracks. Can I use it? And then I think 2-3 weeks, nothing. Maurizio, the friend manager, he asked me, we are interested, it's okay. And then I saw Sven in Amnesia, I think for the closing of the Cocoon closing Amnesia. And I went through Sven and he looked at me, was like, Matthias, kannst du benutzen, the vocal.
This was Sven.
And he was such in a good mood. Okay, this party was also amazing, the Cocoon. And I was like, really? He was like, yeah. Like he was in a very good mood. So, and then I also check double so we can use it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and this, and this vocal is now on the track, and this track is going to be remixed by Marcel Detman also. Yeah.
Cool. Amazing. Can't
Yeah,
wait.
it's very cool. Yeah. Thanks for you.
Send me that promo, Matt.
Yeah, for sure. No,
And when's the dub album coming out? When's this coming out? What's the do you have a release date?
23 of October.
Amazing.
Oh,
23 of October. And I have collaborations with Rauder. You know Rauder?
Yeah.
It's one of my famous artists from Berlin, Rauder and Paul Saint-Hilaire, like Tiki Man. For me, it's like, wow. And then there's another collaboration with Pulsar. It's like a duo from Madrid. They released their first album on Desolat, like really a dub album. And the guy from Pulsar called Pablo Bolivar is a very super talented producer.
I met that guy before, Pablo Bolivar.
Pablo Bolivar,
Madrid, right? You say Madrid?
Yeah, Madrid, yeah.
Yeah. I met him before. Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
So there's like these two collaborations, and then with 4 Japanese singers. One girl is living in LA. Yeah.
Oh.
She called Sakura, and and the other 2 girls are from Tokyo and Osaka, I think. Yeah.
Nice.
How did you get hooked up with them?
I met them all in, I said
That festival?
between 2007 and 2015, I went like 3 times a year to Japan to play. I played, I still can't believe that I played so many cities in Japan. And I met all the, DJ Pike is one of the famous DJs from DJ Pike, Sodeyama. So and they 2 guys to introduce me to all these singers. And the girlfriend from DJ Pike is Shoko, and she already sing the 4th time on my releases. Yeah.
Amazing.
And it's all in Japanese, you said?
All Japanese poems, all the lyrics, like very old lyrics. Sometimes we did also like how you feel after a party, that you're a little bit more tired, or you feel like you're still awake and you dream about the night. I think it's something, I don't know what the Japanese people really think about, but because they will not tell you. But but let's see. Until now, we had also one release on Mule Musik called Ongaku, like music, like the label we had in Frankfurt. Yeah, Ongaku. Yeah. And it's always about dub chords and like smooth beats. And the album is very playable. There's no chill out really. It's always with beats, but yeah, smooth. And a lot of dub chords going around. And like the music that I normally do after I produced 5 or 6 hours here, like more the dance floor stuff. And in the night to come down, I start to switch on my space echo and do a little bit like.
Do you have any sort of outstanding or sort of memories from Japan, like a favorite city or some stories you want to share with us?
Yeah, I have. Actually, I don't know why, but I travel around the world, but always if I speak about Japan, the people ask me, you have an interesting story from Japan? But I have. The people are very friendly. I try to keep it short a little bit. I think it was the 2nd or 3rd time I went to Japan. There was always a group. There was this promoter called Mamoru, and there were always the gang around. So, and they invited me in the night to the dinner, and Japanese dinner, amazing. Everything you want, it's amazing. So, but Mamoru, that night, he brings a present for me. So, and I was like, wow, a present, like maybe some golden chopsticks, I don't know what, or some chopsticks yeah. So, and I opened this present, and there was like kind of a tea, something to bring luck for you for your travels. And then step by step, there was like a underwear, a pant, like a short. And then there was this other little box. So I opened the box, I looked at inside, I was like, oh, what's that? So, and the guy, he gave me like a travel pussy. So, and I was like, I was starting to laugh but nobody around me was laughing because they wanted really that I have a good time. They don't gave me this for a joke. They wanted that I have a really good time. And I was like, okay. They gave me a travel pussy and some nice things around. This was the present for the night. And I was laughing, but everybody was like, oh yeah. And the funny thing, the day after, they asked me, and
how was it?
Okay, this is so there was a lot of funny stories, but this is one that I never will forget. So they are so polite, but they just wanted that I have not a good time, that I have a wonderful good time.
Yeah.
So this is my story from Japan.
One time I was playing just before New Year's Eve, and I got stuck in a snowstorm in Fukuoka, and was trying to get back to Tokyo, and I was DJing in this club, and the guy said, "You've got to leave now." And I've never seen snowflakes so big. And we literally got in the car and we went on the highway, and we went off the highway. Everyone was sliding around. I got stuck. I couldn't get back. I was supposed to play at Berghain, supposed to play in Glasgow, but I had to spend the next 24 hours trying to get from the south of Japan to Tokyo with a guy who didn't speak any English. And it was amazing. I mean, we became really good friends, but it was, I think in places like that, you have these amazing experiences, like it's this incredible country.
It's amazing country. And this guy, Mamoru, I realized he was traveling with me. We had I think a lot, 5-6 gigs in 2 weeks, and he was traveling with me. But I realized after 3-4 days, this guy is not speaking English. But I didn't realize, because always when I said, "How you feel?" he was like, "Oh, how you feel?" He always repeats me. I was like, oh my God. And then I realized at one point, and then I asked him some questions, some more deeper things, and he was not answering me. He answered some stuff from my senses that I asked him. Funny. But they're always taking care of you. They sleep in front of your door inside your hotel, just that you are safe, and it's amazing, really. And and when the guy who checks the sound inside the club of Japan, you know how it is? There comes an MC doing crazy noises with the checking the sound coming in, what he's going to do. You're checking the system. I was like, okay, good. Nice.
Actually, I experienced that one time in Japan, in Tokyo, at this club. It's closed now. It was called Air. It was like a wall full of speakers. I remember I was there for a sound check, and the guy was doing that. I've never seen that before. Usually you do a sound check, you say check, testing, but he was doing these weird sounds, and I was just like,
he was creating sounds like,
yeah, and I was just like, I've never seen that before. That was pretty fun.
And the DJ booth, you have this brush to clean the records. You have these waves. You have everything. You're like, okay, wow.
Yeah, amazing. I love it.
So but since a few years, or since already 4 or 5 years, I don't know. I hope I will be there in the future. I hope. But I think for this album, we're working also together with the Japanese Goethe Institute. So maybe we are doing something nice, a tour, maybe also with Kenneth Christiansen, or I don't know. I would love to go there, even if they pay the flight, or I don't know. I would love to go back to Japan, because I really miss the city. I miss the people, the music, everything is wonderful.
You rarely hear something. How they're doing over in Japan? Anybody knows this?
I spoke with Kenneth Christiansen, and he said that maybe end of the year is a Japanese tour planned for him. I heard nothing. I don't know nothing about Infection, but he said that maybe he's going to Japan. Yeah.
I think that they, with regards to the Olympics there, that they're saying that they don't have an option. If they have to cancel it next year, then I think Paris is 2024. But I think the majority, I think they did. People are more opposed. People don't want the Olympics at the moment. There is what they're saying.
It's supposed to be next year, right?
Well, no, it's supposed to be this year. It's supposed to be this month.
Oh, it's winter.
No, the summer. Yeah, the Summer Olympics. But they're it's cancelled, but they said that they don't have another option if it won't happen next year. And I guess for all the athletes training. I mean, people can't train at the moment. I guess a lot of the
it'd be a bunch of bronze medals, no golds. Nobody can train.
Yeah.
So that's actually kind of interesting, because what happens if you cancel this year's Olympics? Does everything get pushed over to next year, or do they cram it within the 3
Well, this is
years
what they're
now.
saying, that they don't have another option. They don't have, and I think people already know that next year's probably not going to happen either. Because
Wow.
because no one can train, no one can prepare. So, and then
Even travel. I mean, how are people going to be traveling?
Yeah, for sure. And then the following Olympics is 2024, so it's only 3 years away, and that's in Paris. So
Yeah.
But
Because they're not going to move the dates. It's going to stay to 2024 Summer Olympics.
yeah, it has to. I mean,
Okay.
the countries pay so much money, don't they, to get the Olympics in the city.
They bid. Yeah, they bid to get the
Yeah.
I think I saw that LA is supposed to get it again sometime in the 20s, which would be pretty rad.
The Zombie Olympics.
It was here. It was, I think it was here like 1984.
I'm starting to get depressed now with all of your.
no.
I know. Man.
No.
But Chris, actually, I would love to speak because today I saw your post that you're working on another album. Let's go back to the music. And I saw Ralf Hildenbeutel, one of our big heroes in Germany. I would love to know a little bit more about your upcoming album. Because with Ralf, I know what Ralf is able to do.
I have to pinch myself every time that I think about that actually Ralf is producing music with me. And because he's such a legend, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. He did all the, oh my God, amazing.
I mean, we grew up with this music. It was my entrance door, IQ, my entrance door to techno music. I would say what he did, and I mean, when I asked him back in 2015, because I knew I wanted to do a little bit of a different kind of music than just a 4/4 beat with just a kick drum essentially. I feel like I just released kick drums all my life, with something in between.
But Burn Slow was different.
Yeah, and I wanted to do something different, and I knew I needed a producer on my side who's a proper musician, and there was just this like, Ralf, would you have a coffee with me and I can ask you a question? It's like, you want to do it? Could you imagine doing an album with me? And he was like, yeah, sure, let's do this. And that was 2015 when we started with Burn Slow, and we did this. And we started, essentially we started in January 2019 already with a new set of tracks for the next album. And the amazing thing working with him is I think we're functioning really well together. Everybody has its function, and essentially there is no waste when we produce. It's like we think of like, let's do a track, and we do a track, and then that is a track that is definitely going to be a release. And because of, obviously, when we're traveling, we cannot, like, I've never taken like 2-3 months off in order to produce an album. So it's only like I have a day here, I have a day there, and Ralf is really big into movie score and television score business. He makes a lot of music for television series in Italy and movies and stuff like this. So we always had to find a certain date. So we're really productive. I go to a studio, which we later on found out is literally like 4 minutes bike ride from where I'm here away. It's like things are so close. It's amazing. And I go there and we just work. And especially because we ended up on Mute Records, it gave us a whole new range of possibilities to work with a lot of people and to reach out to a lot of people. And the combination of that all is just so, I seriously have to pinch myself like daily when I think about it. And we started a slow process. Let's start to work on the next album. That was like in January 2019. And then over the course of the year, sort of 10 tracks came together, 10 very raw tracks. And then I'm working a little bit more on that and on this. And we're now in the phase, funny, I don't know, it's we're what, 4 months into the lockdown now. In the past 4 weeks, somehow the momentum picked up to really finalize a lot of stuff. And right now it's like a daily business basically, because I'm working with a lot of vocalists together on this one too.
What
And
which kind of vocals, in which way?
man, it's impossible. It's seriously impossible to explain.
Someone that you know?
I was at a friend's place, a couple on Sunday, where one of them was basically celebrating the birthday from a couple of weeks ago with a small crowd, and they were asking me like, "What's going on?" And so I played them a track because I basically tried to explain what I'm trying to explain to you. Well, yeah, somebody's singing there actually, and they're like, "What kind of music are you making now?" And it's like it's really not it's really hard to explain. It's kind of it sounds a little Depeche Mode-y, I would say almost. But and they were like, "Are you all commercial now? What's going on?" And I'm like, "You know what? I got to play it to you." And once you play it, people understand it. But it's impossible for me to describe it. And I'm really excited about it. And it's seriously the magic of Ralf Hildenbeutel's production techniques, which kind of releases this magic, which at least I feel it, you know. It's like, I don't know if anybody else feels it, but isn't that the most important thing, that you are happy with what you're doing musically, and then you don't really care about what anybody else is thinking about it. So, and we're in a phase right now, and this is why Matthias is saying like he saw a post of me today, because I had to explain to, and there's some really great fans, and I see them here in the chat as well, that wait for my stream every 2 weeks that I'm doing. But I have to skip the stream this weekend because right now we're in a phase. We're going to have a production meeting tomorrow, actually, from 12 o'clock on, together with Daniel Miller, the guy from Mute. So, and this is going to take probably like 3-4 hours. And I don't know if you guys ever like produced music online with other people. There's this software called Audio Movers, where you can send your signal out of your DAW basically in pretty much real time, but with the proper sound, like you have the exact same sound over to another DAW. And then you use softwares like Skype or Zoom to share the screen of the DAW. So you see the arrangement in front of you. So we're essentially in the phase of mixing down the tracks now and finalizing a lot of music, and it's a really amazing moment right now. And that's why I had to make the decision. I cannot take care of the Saturday night stream, because if I do a Saturday night stream, honestly, the work starts usually after our show here. You know, not only that, I spent the whole week trying to find new music, because when you play those long sets, like 6 hours or 8 hours, you want to like mix things up. So you need a lot of new music. So it starts before. But in this place where I'm doing this, you know, I'm setting up the fog machines, the lamps, and the screen, and I'm trying to find like visuals. It's quite a production, and I had to make that decision this weekend. It's like, no, I need to focus on that, because we're in a really good momentum now, right now, and I'm really excited about it. It's going to be fun, but I have no clue when it's going to be done and finished, really, to be honest. But it's really interesting times.
Nice. Looking forward. Nice. Really good. Cool.
Yeah, I'm so curious to play this stuff to you guys, because it's so hard to explain. I mean, I've never had anyone singing really, and I made the conscious decision this time on this album. I want to basically have sung vocals, and
Are you writing
I found, huh?
Are you writing?
I'm actually writing lyrics, but that's a whole nother story. I'm writing my own lyrics.
That's cool.
But don't worry, I'm not singing. But I found this really amazing singer in England. His name is Tom Adams. I'm not sure if some of you might be familiar with him, Matt maybe. And he's such an amazing guy. And the people who actually contribute the vocals also do the lyrics basically. But we're kind of like, it's kind of a back and forth, and we're like, it's the production part is actually the smallest part. The organization part, to talk to everyone and get everyone involved under the same idea and everything. It's you feel more like a manager of making this album rather than a producer, but it's an interesting and fun process. I'm sure you guys have worked with vocalists way more than I have, and you know more about this process way more. Yeah, I think Matt has a fair fair share of working with vocalists together, and sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's more complicated.
Yeah.
I think Matt is the master of the lyrics. Wait a minute. Oh, yes, I do feel the same. You know, like this is short but so effective.
So
and
spot
everybody
on.
remember. He's
Yeah.
the master of the shortest lyrics ever and like affecting 100%.
Yeah.
By the way, how did you guys meet? How do you guys know each other? I mean, David and Matthias, you've never met in person,
No,
huh?
we
Did
never
you?
met. I think David. No,
Nope, never
no,
met in person.
never.
But you guys been, I mean, obviously working together, Matt and
Yeah,
Matthias.
I mean, we released an EP from Matthias. Was it last year?
Yeah, exactly 1 year ago.
Yeah, but we've been trying to. I think we've been trying to release some music for a while, and I've always been a big fan. I really respect what he does. I think I love. I think it's. I don't know. It's this. You're the kind of artist who, for me, you love everything and kind of make it work for you, and so and I think we're very similar in that respect, where we like techno, but we also love house and everything in between, like you said, dub as well, yeah. And I think we did really well with the last EP was great. So.
Yeah, because like I said before, I wanted to leave a little bit all this groovy stuff that I did the past years and all this new music I had inside my head. There was only for me coming re-kids in my mind because of all the house influenced stuff, but in a techno way, this was exactly what I wanted. Yeah. Sometimes also re-kids, there are some techno records, they're too much for me, but it's fine. But there's another one coming, and I'm a big fan of his kind of music, like more this housey vocals in a completely techno Gerüst. What is Gerüst? I don't know. Yeah,
Structure.
Yeah. Exactly. Structure. Yeah. So this is what I love. And then thanks God after we needed a long time that you released the tracks, but then the first EP was out and it was for me a little bit more, giving me a little bit more freedom because this is what I wanted to do now. It's 2020. So and Liberate Drums was my last EP and I was super happy about the track because it was special. It was super timeless. You can release that in my eyes. It was you can release that in 2000 or in 2030. It still exists because it's not running against another genre. It's like super timeless, and I think
I think you're like you were talking about it earlier with the sound that you play. I mean, you play in South America a lot, right? I mean, I think they really
a lot. This is my main market.
Right. And
I go there like every 2 months for sure. Yeah.
And which countries in particular, like Brazil or Argentina or everywhere? I
go mostly Argentina and Uruguay.
But then we played at the same place in Uruguay.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, amazing.
I play every country in America besides of Brazil. No Brazil. Okay. I played Varung once. I played The Edge for a couple of times, Varung. But the last years, because Brazil, I think I have the answer, but I don't know. Yeah, I think, there is like this kind of dynamic, melodic.
Yeah.
There is a sentence that says Solomon is the king of Brazil, but it is, and even the sound and everything is like this. Yeah. It's not about like techno or like groovy. It's like this melodic going on, and this is why maybe I'm not existing in Brazil or I don't have so much listeners there. Yeah. But it's fine. I love Argentina. I love Uruguay, Chile. Chile is. Yeah. There was times I spent like 2-3 weeks in Chile. I had one gig, but I stayed there the whole week, and I had another gig in Ecuador. Came back to Chile. Yeah, I felt very connected. In my heart, I don't know how to say, but I feel more. Sometimes I feel more like a Latino in some ways for the music, for the rhythm, for the dancing. Yeah. I'm not really East German in that way. Yeah. So now you know.
No. Amazing, yeah.
Can only happen in electronic music.
Yeah, it's possible, yeah. And I would love, now I have you all in front of me. David, what's your next, what's your stuff you're doing right now? Another EP is coming. Are you released one EP on Pets also, yeah? I think before.
Yeah, late last year, like November.
Yeah, it was before I think my EP on Pets was after yours, I think, or before.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. There's a remix EP that just released like this week with Josh Wink, Matt, Lauren
I saw
Flax.
the story, or the story on Instagram.
Yeah, and I did a remix contest a few months ago now, and the winner of that contest, this is the record that's on now, and I haven't been super productive, unfortunately. I don't know, because of everything going on. It's just like I really don't have anything else planned right now, other than some remixes. I did a remix for Scuba that I finished, but I have some tracks that are in the works, but nothing 100% done yet. But I don't know. It's one of those things that when it's done, it's done. I'm gonna put it out. I don't care about release schedules anymore. Now when it's done, it's putting it out. Like, who cares?
I produced together with my son Matteo and his kindergarten group a song.
Wow.
Because the guy who's taking care the whole day about the kids, he's like a good musician. He plays guitar, he can sing, and he wrote some lyrics, and he was asking me like, hey Matthias, maybe we can record in your studio. So I invited at first the guy. He was singing, I recorded his voice, then his piano and guitar. And then the day after, I invited all the kids, 20 little kids between 5 and 6 years in my studio, but in the other room. So, and I recorded all this thing, and it's called Freundschaft. And I produced a CD with like a radio version, then a long version where in the middle, every kid says his name, like, hey, my name is Matteo, my name is Romy. And then another version, instrumental, that all the kids who can sing the song on instrumental. So I made a CD and I gave it to the kindergarten.
Can you get like Ricardo to do a remix?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Guys, I have to check on my cake.
I got my daughter sung on this Served record that we've done. We've now got we sampled quite a few tracks to make the song.
Yeah.
But we cleared the samples.
Ooh.
So, but my daughter sung part of it, and she was only like 3.5, and she loves it. She loves being in front of the microphone. So
super. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's good fun.
Yeah, Matteo is doing also the other design of the Rekits EP, because the first was also a drawing, and now the second Rekits EP is something that he's now into rockets and moon and stars and all this stuff. So he made like a collage, and this is another design of the upcoming Rekits.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's nice to. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. But how about your cake? I would love to taste your cake.
It looks good. It's my second vegan strawberry cheesecake. Obviously, the strawberry is going to go on there now.
Yes,
but
I totally forgot. Yeah, for sure. You're 100% vegan since a long time. Yes.
Yeah, and I actually I posted some pictures because I was so proud of my last cheesecake. And people were asking me about the recipe, and then everybody was saying like, hey, make a video. So I actually filmed myself making that cake.
Nice.
It's a good looking cake. I just needed to check that it didn't completely fall together, but it didn't. So it's all good. But I'll bake one for all of you once we're back together in person. And until then, I probably can do it blindly because I've done like 1 million cakes.
It's like Ali with his sourdough. He's a pro now.
Yeah.
What is sourdough? Sourdough?
Sourdough.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's like baking bread every day. Almost.
Well, guys, we've been over 2 hours again with this amazing show. Matthias, I love to have, we all probably love to have you as a guest on the show. You brought such a refreshing perspective into the show.
Thank you so much. Yeah. And only our second German on the show, I think, you and Ellen.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, thanks so much for the invitation. Really, it helps me also. I feel a little bit, to talk with someone who's really in the same situation. It helps me a lot.
Could we give you a little bit positivity then?
Absolutely.
Can I please ask you not to talk to your banker friend too much now in the future?
Yeah, I try. But he keeps calm. He knows me and he don't want to scare me more. So all the time when we see each other, he's like, okay, maybe we don't talk about this. Yeah.
Matthias, next time he wants to talk to you, we just like text us and we'll get you out of the low phase then again.
Yeah.
Or something.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Well, so you have the gig coming up this weekend then, right?
This Sunday, yes. This Sunday with Stefanik, yes, back to back, 7 hours, I think, yeah. So, and then, yeah, I think the next gig then in July is this for what I said at Hanover, for Chris, for the guys from Pan Club. But they have like an open air area, but nobody's allowed to dance. Even also on Sunday, nobody's allowed to dance. The people can come, they can chill, but they are not allowed to dance. So
that's going to be interesting.
It's very interesting. But in Leipzig, we have one party going on. This I totally forgot to tell. There's one party going on, and there's also 300 people allowed. There's also security, but the people dance. The people dance, and some friends went there, and they say they feel like if nothing happens. So, but it's good. I think it's okay if they feel happy, and I think they already did the 3rd venue, and yeah, no numbers went up, or no one of them was tested positive. So let's see.
That's a good high note we can end the show on. David, Matt, you have anything this weekend coming up? Like obviously no big 4th of July plans or anything like that? No?
Nothing. I mean,
in about 2 hours, I'll be doing a Instagram live with this Beer You Are podcast. It's just about beer. So if people want to talk about beer and watch me talk about beer, you should check that out on Instagram. So
is this like knob twiddlers for beers?
Yeah, exactly.
For beers? I mean, for alcoholics or something.
But just about beer. But it's short. It won't be a 2-hour long thing.
Right.
So yeah, it's at Beer You Are. If you look at my Instagram, you'll see me post it. So that's in about 2 hours and 15 minutes. So
right.
I'll have more beer to drink.
And Matt, what are you going to do?
I'm home alone at the moment, so I'm just making tracks nonstop. Last week I did nothing because I hurt my back training. I think it was also just the amount of stress before wife and kids left that caused it. But I'm now indulging myself in this German series, The Dark, which is incredible. Right. So I'm on series.
I heard a lot of good things.
3 now. So it's amazing. So
I just remember I got invited by Anja Schneider 11th of July next weekend, Saturday, to play and to speak in the radio show. I'm in Berlin for 1 or 2 days. Maybe we can have a distance coffee together, Matt, if you want.
I'd love to. Yeah, let's hang for sure.
Yeah, it's Saturday 11.
For sure. Hopefully I'll be here. So
let's see.
I see some comments that people are asking for the guest next week. I think some of our viewers really think we're way more organized than we are. Do we have a guest next week already planned?
I'm not sure, Chris.
Crap, I don't remember.
I
think people have to realize too. It's like, we'll ask a guest to come on and they'll say yes, but then something comes up and they'll say, you know what, I can't do it. So I mean, we're not like a TV show.
No.
It's super casual. So if they say yes, and then in last minute they have to do something, then okay, we might not have a guest. But Ali's probably going to text us and say like, dude, so and so is going to be on. But
how you
actually, isn't it Anja Schneider?
Anja Schneider. How you can see the comments? I see only you guys, but it's super fine. But I can see no comments around.
I moved my windows on my I have the browser behind the Zoom window, and so I can see the comments going up and down depending on if I have my Facebook page on or my YouTube page on. But I see it on the side, so it's kind of.
Yeah, you have to open up like a YouTube or Facebook, and that's where
David has 2 screens, so he always looks up.
Yeah, because that's why you see me looking up, because I have a screen up here. Yeah, that's why.
I think
generally we have to remind people, and I think we all agree on this, that our show is called DJs and Beers, and it's literally not more and not less. It's like if you're expecting like deeply philosophical discussions about the future of our planet, maybe that is the wrong place you want to go.
But I just checked; it is Anja Schneider next week.
Yeah.
Cool.
You see?
yeah.
Very good.
So
And-
there you go.
I also read a lot that the people wish Mark Broom.
Yeah.
Yes.
okay.
Oh, last week
Gotta get Mark
they
on.
were like Mark Broom all the time. So
Yeah,
Matt, it's your turn.
yeah. Yeah, we'll
Amazing.
get Mark on for sure.
Mark would be good too. Yeah.
We need more Brits.
Oh, we need more Germans. We had, you see, guys, when we have more Germans on the show is amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matthias.
Yeah.
Good
Thank
day.
you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Really.
And please send us all some photos from the weekend.
Absolutely. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And I sent you also my upcoming dub album. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah,
I have
man.
got the master
That I'm really looking forward
Can
to.
you send it to all of us, please?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can send it now, the link in the chat, and then you can send it to David. I don't know if he's in the chat, but yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
Thank you
forward.
so much, guys. Really.
Yeah. Have a great weekend.
Yes, you too, guys.
Have fun. Be safe. Wear your mask.
Thank you, David. I
Yes,
will.
Stay, wear your mask. Be safe on the 4th
Cheers,
of July.
everybody.
See you next week. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
guys. Bye. Ciao. Good to speak to you.
Ciao.
Bye.